What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this, we have 11 British habits we've adopted since moving from the US. Before we dive into this video, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to smash that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and let's get right to it.
We're Zach and Annie, a Scotsman and an American.
6 months ago, we made a huge decision, leaving everything behind in California in order to follow a new dream of raising our kids in Scotland.
Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we are inside because there's another yellow wind warning outside. You might be able to see something flying around out there, but it's pretty gusty. Anyway, today we are talking about habits that we've either picked up or I've reacquired after living in the UK for 9 months.
Yes. So we moved over from California to Scotland, and some of these things we thought might happen, and then others took us by surprise. So let's get into it.
Okay, number one might sound strange coming from somebody who used to enforce the road laws in California, but it is driving at the speed limit.
Yes. So Zach was a sergeant for the California Highway Patrol. And before that, he was an officer and actually pulled people over for driving over the speed limit. And yeah, it's just very different here. People, you get your occasional speeder, but two different things is there really aren't officers patrolling the roads like in the US, and they leave it up to speed cameras more so, right?
Yeah, so in the UK, speed cameras are the way of deterring people's speed for the most part. They're highly visible. It's advertised where they are. If you get caught by a speed camera, it's your own fault, really. Whereas in the US, yeah, 90% of my job was catching people speeding and being somewhat sneaky about it. And
90% of the people were speeding.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when I first moved to the US, I was doing some driving and I was like, why are you going so slow? I'm like, the speed limit on the freeway is 65. I'm doing 65. She's like, nobody does 65.
Like, you are going to cause an accident if you drive the speed limit.
And she's right. I mean,
Thanks.
A minimum of maybe like 10 miles an hour over the limit, nobody's going to bat an eye. As long as you're on the freeway. Obviously, other streets are different. And working in law enforcement, I would agree. It's not worth our time because so many other people are going so much faster than that on the roads. Whereas in the UK, I'd say if you're going more than 5 over, you're potentially in trouble. And most people just sit at the speed limit and cruise along at 70 miles an hour, which is the sort of national speed limit here, or the motorway speed limit. And yeah, it's just a completely, I don't know, there's less people enforcing it, yet more people here
abide by the law.
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept, that, isn't it?
And it's not, I mean, in the US, you can definitely get a speeding ticket if you're doing 1 mile an hour over the speed limit. But I don't know if it's the size of their freeways or whatever it is that lets people go faster, but that is definitely something I've had to readjust to.
It is. And that sort of segues into our
next... I swear, low-key, I literally thought that, like, when going over the speed limit, you're allowed to go, like, 4 above. Like, don't go 5 and over. That's where you're getting your ticket. But if you go, like, 59 and 55... nobody gonna look at you. But they're absolutely right. On the interstate, freeway, highway, whatever you want to, going 60, speed limit 65, most people are going about 75. For sure. Because me, as a recovering speeder, because I felt like I was a speed demon in terms of maybe on a 75, I was probably pushing like 90 to 95. And just looking out for cops, which I feel like is a lot easier than speed cameras, because if it ain't no cops, you're good to go. But yeah, I feel like because of the speed cameras, I feel like that would make people abide more so by the law than having more cops patrolling, because it's like you got cops out there, but like you got apps now that are going to tell you where the cops are, and if you don't see no cops, then you're going. Whereas speed cameras, you know where the speed cameras are. And so we don't need to be speeding. With cops, it's like they could be there, they could not be there. You taking a risk. I mean, I've took risks. I've gotten speed tickets in the past. But Now that I have my son, I do not speed anymore because I don't want to put myself or him mostly in any dangerous situations. So I now go to speed limit and I'll just be driving the speed limit. Everybody's flying past me, bro. Everybody's flying past me. So they're absolute 90% of people, 100% speed, and going 65 and a 65 is not the thing here in the U.S. It's not it. Let's keep it going.
Point about transportation and having public transportation actually being a viable option here.
Yeah. Again, when I moved over there, we were looking to do some big trips, and I was like, okay, that's going to be a however long drive. It's like, well, why don't we think about the train or the bus or something? And it's not even on the table because they're just not as accessible and easy to use.
Or affordable.
Or affordable, yeah. Trains in the United States, I think trains are expensive here. Try getting a train over any long distance in the US, it's crazy. Whereas here, yeah, bus, you can jump on a bus so easily. You can walk places. Trains get you city center to city center. It's almost our first option is to try and use public transport. And then if that maybe doesn't work with our plans, okay, fine, we'll drive.
We have one car, and Zach's now taking it into the office. So he has a new job. He's having to go into the office regularly. And I'm with the kids at home during those periods. And I am relying on the bus so much. It was something that was extremely overwhelming to me when we first moved.
I can imagine.
Oh my gosh, how do I look at bus schedules and plan ahead? And it's so simple. And now we have a bus pass and just can get off and on, navigate around the town, and it's been a lifesaver. So I'm so thankful for accessible and reliable public transport.
And safer.
Yeah.
And safe,
I think especially certain night times in the US, like you would avoid public transport almost completely. So.
MARTA, if you're from Atlanta, you don't want to be going on MARTA late at night. So there's a big difference in public transport here, and we're taking full advantage of it.
Number 3 is
I never even tried public transport. I didn't even know we had trains that'll take you long distances. I thought just certain cities and certain states might have had them, but a lot of states did not have. I thought literally like cars necessity. I see buses go, but but public transport it's not even comparable. US to UK when it comes to public transport. UK is just completely got us beat in that area. It'd be an insult to even compare public transport between the two countries.
Almost a habit, it's more of a mindset shift. The amount of orders we're receiving from Amazon has gone way down. We are just not like buying as much stuff.
No.
We've been thinking about this and trying to figure out like why. I don't know if it's we have slightly less disposable income or we don't have enough space for stuff, but there's just not so much of a desire to sort of buy stuff.
No, and maybe there's more of like thinking of the environment here and the impact that you're going to have. I feel guilty now when I order from Amazon and have excessive packages coming, whereas in the US, we had something getting delivered almost daily. It's embarrassing to say, and I really regret this now.
Yeah, it's almost like we're like one person or one family in hundreds of millions of people versus one family now in a lot less people.
Yes.
So technically our impact's greater, is that what you mean?
It is.
Okay.
Well, no, I just feel like I'm more conscious of it too, and wanting to be a better person for the planet and making less of that environmental impact. So I don't know. That's a big change for me, and not wanting so much stuff.
Yeah.
It could be because our house is about a fourth the size of what we had in the States, but I don't know. It's just a complete mind shift.
I think
change.
also for Amazon, there's so much less choice on the UK Amazon that in the US, you could just search for hours and finally find that like perfect little thing with these little features, and whereas here you're like, actually, I don't find that. It doesn't have this feature and I don't need it. I don't know. If you have any ideas of why that might be, we'd be interested to hear, because it's definitely something we've changed, but we're not really sure why.
Yeah.
And we like it.
And I think it actually probably plays off of the next point is that we are buying more locally.
I feel like, and here in the US, you just have that consumerism mentality. Like, you feel like if money hits your account, you have to spend it. Not me personally, you feel me? I'm more methodical. Because in my head, like, I guess the way I was always raised as if, like, my dad's always taught me, like, you need to have money put away because it's not if something happens, it's when it happens. Because something at some point is going to happen that's going to require you to have money put away. So it's there for a rainy day. So in my head, I'm always like, save, 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 save. And now with my wife, her mentality and mindset is a lot different. Her is spin, 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 spin. So I think coming together, clashing our mindsets, we have created a good balance of getting things, but also putting money away. So we're complete opposites in so many different things, and I guess that's what helps us come with the balance of in so many different areas. Even though I give in a lot of areas, but that's not what this is about. This is about Amazon, and they don't want as much stuff, nor do they need as much stuff as they did in the U.S. Yeah, that's amazing.
Good point. Yeah.
So when we need something, we try to support the local businesses and we go into town. And if you need a light bulb, rather than going to Amazon and ordering it and having it delivered, we'll go to a local shop and pick up a light bulb, because why would you not want your town and high street to succeed? And if it's just a few pence difference, it makes a big difference for our community.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're almost definitely going to be spending a little bit more, but we're happy to do that, and that's a great answer. Answered our own question, but yes, like Annie said, that's now our first port of call is like, oh, let's walk into town and see if they have it. You get it quicker, and you support the local business, and it's just a win-win.
Our son needed a bicycle, and there's a bike shop in our town, and it was more expensive, but then again, we know it's going back into the community, and the more you put into the community, the more you get out, the more it thrives. So when it's a difference like that you can make, we like to do our part.
And then little things, for that example, the guy we bought it from was like, oh, bring it back in 6 weeks. And he gave it a free once over to tighten up the brakes and the cables and stuff. And you can get that if you bought it at Amazon or a big shop. So yeah,
exactly.
Shop local. We love it.
And that's for things as well, like a farmer's market, getting your fresh produce. And we have a man who comes with a fish truck, buying from him. So supporting all the local businesses has been fantastic, and wasn't something that we necessarily even had the option to do in the States.
Yeah. No.
I mean, sometimes we'd have local farmers markets, but it's just quite different over here.
Yeah. Yeah. Local in the US would just be like your local big supermarket or Safeway or whatever it is.
And then maybe some fruit stands on the side of the road. Yeah. they have those.
No, they are. Not always still legal, but yeah, excellent strawberries.
Yes, they were. But talking about shopping local.
I feel like I can't think of too many local spots that I can go and grab stuff at and shop at. But so I feel like they're completely right in the sense of, a lot of stuff is just going to be ordered because, and then I feel like when you order online, you get so many different kind of deals, so many promos. It's just much more deals than you're going to get in store at most places. So not only is it more convenient to order online, but it comes out at a cheaper cost. And I really can't think of any small local businesses to support. All local businesses, I guess, are really big chain businesses. So, yeah.
I guess this one doesn't segue as much.
Try it. Go for it. I want to know.
Is that you don't buy so much in bulk. How does that go?
It has a purchasing segment. I'll buy it. No, Annie's right. And another big thing that came out of our Costco comparison, other than the fact that Costco over here seems very expensive, is that we don't have space for 500 toilet rolls and 300 kitchen rolls and 18 pounds of meat and all that sort of
50 boxes of cereal because you get the discount when you buy so many.
God dang.
Yeah, quite literally, we don't have the space to store months of stuff. And so we find ourselves doing more routine weekly shops versus maybe up to like a month's worth of bulk purchasing and then little things to add on, which is nice, and it keeps kind of what we eat varied. And so we just touched on it briefly there, but
I don't really even like bulk purchasing, but I mean, my wife did convince me to get a Costco membership. I told you I give in on a lot of things. It's just easier for my peace. Fellas, y'all know what I mean. Y'all know it's easier for my peace if I give in on most things. But yeah, we buying. I don't like buying in bulk because I feel like a lot of things don't end up getting eaten because you get tired of it at a certain point. I more preferred when I was alone, like living alone. I went to the grocery store 2 times a week just to get what I needed and to kind of switch things up. And so nothing ever really went to waste because I was going at least 2 times a week. Whereas now I don't. I may go like once a week or once every other week. But yeah, I know what they mean with all the toilet roll. I am appreciative of that, actually, being able to buy toilet rolls in bulk and paper towels in bulk. And certain things just are more handy in bulk because they last forever. You may feel like you're spending a ton at the moment you buy them, but they last forever.
another big one, which we got some hate for initially, was shopping seasonally. Now in California especially, you're spoiled because you can get essentially delicious fresh fruit year round.
Yes.
I mean, you'll see variations, especially in like the strawberries and that sort of thing. But for the most part, they're good all year.
And they don't fluctuate so much in price. Whereas here, someone
they're always
mentioned
just
it.
super expensive.
But someone mentioned in a video, like, why would you be buying that? That's not in season and it's so much more expensive. And it never even crossed my mind. So I did compare prices, and it's a huge difference between buying things out of season versus seasonally.
Yeah, like Annie said, I didn't even look at the price. I just assumed they'd be the same because that's what we're used to, but we've learned.
Yes, because things like Scottish strawberries in season are fresher, tastier, and cheaper than the ones that you get in the winter that have to be imported from somewhere else. So it makes sense.
It all makes so much sense. Silly, oblivious American mindsets.
I don't know, but I mean, things like strawberries can be grown all year round in the U.S.
Yeah, and then you have
and in California,
and you have Mexico right there with like weather that can grow stuff, and
so it's just something that we weren't aware of because we hadn't had exposure to it.
And we use strawberries because our kids will eat them by the kilo if we allow them. So.
That's wild.
All right, I'm gonna try this segue to the next one.
That's awesome. Strawberries are freaking amazing. Like, who doesn't love strawberries? They go bad so quickly. Oh, they're so amazing. Yeah, that's something I never think about is if fruit is in or out of season, I guess. But I guess I never really just buy like fruit like at a local farmer's market or anything where it's probably going to be the freshest possible. I just always go to the grocery store. But yeah, I can imagine if you're buying in season, it's going to be a lot cheaper than out of season. So that does make sense to me.
And since we're talking about shopping seasonally, the next one is checking the weather daily.
Yeah.
Something we were definitely spoiled for. I think the only thing in California we checked the weather for was if it was going to be too hot to go outside or if there was a fire and it was not safe to go outside.
Yep.
Other than that, it was going to be pretty much blue skies and sunny. Gonna add into that?
Yep, that's it.
You
Goodbye.
said you could add anything. I love
See you next week.
I love these two.
So with that said, you have to plan appropriately, and what I mean by that is bring a backpack and every item of clothing you have.
Something
for every single day.
I did this when I first moved over, and Annie called me out on it because we were in Georgia, and I had a backpack with a little scarf and some gloves and a rain jacket, and Annie's like, "It is 80 to like 35 degrees Celsius out there.
This is midsummer in Georgia. You do not need your gloves and scarf.
She's like, if you leave and it looks like this, you'll come back and it looks like this, and it'll be like this all day, all week, most of the month. You'll be fine. So I ditched my backpack, but I've dusted it off and it's back out now every day. Little umbrella, gloves,
scarf,
rain
hat.
jacket.
Yes, the kids' waterproof clothes, just throwing those in there because you never know when the rain's going to hit, and you don't want it to have to impact you and you have to go all the way back home, get changed. So if you just have their waterproof clothes already packed up in the bag, they take up so little space, why not?
Yeah, we'd send the kids in California shorts and t-shirt to school, and they'd maybe have a little zip-up hoodie for the morning, but you didn't need to pack a jacket. Whereas the kids' waterproof jacket lives in their school bag.
Yes.
If it rains on them at playtime, they throw it on, and it's an essential little habit change for sure. You're only going to get caught out once, and you'll realize how much you want it. So.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Because in California, if it rained at school, the kids just wouldn't go outside. It's a one-day hit. Here, they go outside daily. So rain or shine, whatever.
Maybe even pack some welly boots.
Snow. And they're outside, which I appreciate because they need that time. It helps the brain develop, right?
I can't remember the next point, but I want to see if Annie can segue into it.
That's interesting. Yeah, we don't go out. If it rains, we don't go outside. We like, well, I guess it's gonna stay in. The teachers, instead of recess, teachers start pulling out the board games, the just different kind of games you got inside of the classroom. You pull those in and you have your recess inside. But I guess it's different. I don't know how much it rains in Scotland. I know in the UK, y'all's weather is a lot more unpredictable than certain states here in the US weather. I live in Georgia now, and if it's sunny outside, it's going to be sunny all day. If it's cold, it might be cold in the morning and heat up later in the evening. But yeah, I never check the weather for if it's going to rain. I walk outside. Do it look like it's going to rain today? No. Okay. Do it look like it's going to rain today? Yes. Okay. And I dress accordingly. I just need to know the temperature. That's all. How cold is it out there? Or how hot is it out there? Is all I need, because we're talking below 60, hoodie and sweats. Above 60, I'll say above 65, probably knock out some shorts. Maybe a long sleeve. I get cold very easily, so rarely do you catch me in t-shirts unless it's just like hot midsummer heat. And I'm in a t-shirt.
All right. So helping the brain develop. I mean, there's nothing better for your brain than a hot cup of coffee, right?
Nailed it. Well done.
It's actually the use of kettles over here. We use the kettle nonstop all day long, whether it's for making our hot drinks throughout the day or even boiling
our hot drinks.
My hot drinks. Boiling hot water before you're making pasta.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. People just don't use kettles in the US. Like 90% of people don't use them.
Yeah.
We've had comments that some people do, but I think the electricity difference and all that, it's actually more...
It's just not as quick over there, so it's it doesn't make the impact that it does over here. You can have your water boiled so quickly over here because of the differences in electricity. So
plus, apparently, you don't need boiling water to make hot drinks in the US.
Well, coffee doesn't use boiling water, whereas tea, it's mandatory that your water is boiling.
This is way outside my area of expertise. The only thing I use a kettle for is heating up the hot water bottles.
And the hot water bottle is another good one. Yeah, so the kettle is used all day, fantastic, and we're never giving it up. You will have to pry it from my cold, dead hands. Do you remember what the next one is?
I would say most of us don't use kettles for sure. I don't drink hot drinks at all, so I can't really speak on this one.
A quick peek, and talking about being in the kitchen.
I don't know what's coming.
The next is using your knife and fork.
Oh, yes. Okay, good one.
So this is something I never stopped doing. Got laughed at a few times in the US, but using your knife and fork properly is just something everyone does over here.
Whoa, properly.
I'm standing by that, yes.
So I will say, when I first met Zach and he was using his fork the British way, where you keep your fork sort of upside down in your left hand and then you use the knife in the right hand, and you use both utensils throughout your whole meal, which I have adopted. I actually think it's functional and makes so much sense.
And in some of the other videos, they were saying that Annie is doing it better than me, so that's fine.
So that, though, I thought when I first met Zach that he was being so rude eating like that. Isn't
rude?
That funny?
Really?
Yeah, well, because I did.
Wow, rude.
I mean, you know, the South etiquette, we
But what's
sort of had etiquette
what's
lessons.
like rude about it?
Yeah.
Or what did you perceive to be
just-
rude about it?
What I thought the proper way to eat was to cut your piece, put your hand in your lap, like use just your right hand, then cut a piece, put your hand back in your lap. It takes so much more time and effort.
Honestly, she kept this subdued because she never mentioned that to me. This is the first time I've ever heard of that.
But so it's funny. He thought I was being rude. I thought he's being rude. Rude's probably a little bit too much of a strong term. Maybe.
Just I don't know what the word is, but yeah.
We didn't think it was the proper way.
Just like Annie said, like they will use both utensils, cut it up, but then they'll put the knife down, switch to their dominant hand, and like just start shoveling in what they've cut up, which to me is like, all right, easy, like.
One thing I do see British people mentioning this all the time, so I have to give Americans a little bit of credit. They say that we eat like children because they think that we cut up every single piece and then eat it. That's what we do for our kids.
Yeah.
The British people do that for their kids as well.
Yeah, but then Americans, we use our knife and fork throughout the whole meal. We just put our hand in our lap in between having to cut pieces. So it's not like we cut up every single piece on our plate like a child and then eat from there. Just some clarification. But I have adopted the British way of using a fork and knife or knife and fork.
So I think as well, does America kind of like eat things almost on their own? Because I feel like when you use the knife and fork in both hands, that's how you can like combine the different things on your plate. So you get like a little bit of everything and put it together.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like you guys don't really do that. Or you can do that if you're just using like...
We just spear it on with our one hand.
Jab it in there.
Yep.
So yes, anyway, using your knife and fork in both hands throughout the meal, if you don't do that here, you'll get some funny looks, I think.
People will just think you're American,
yeah,
probably.
That's probably right.
And I agree. I enjoy eating the British way more so.
So this next one...
I never thought about this till I seen a video talking about it, and I was like, the British way of eating is much more efficient when you just keep it in the same hands the entire time. Because, what he said is exactly how I'll cut food. Like, I'll cut with my right hand, fork, left hand, stab into it, put the knife down, switch the fork over to the right. I don't know, it's maybe the American in me. The British way is definitely much more efficient. But that's just how it is. And I will say I have seen my fair share of adults here in the U.S. still cut up all of their food, like meat-wise, before they start eating it. My wife does it. I'll cut. I can't wait. I ain't got time to be cutting. I'll cut, eat. I still eat very quickly, but I'd probably eat more quickly if I did things the British way.
I think we were probably aware of as a cultural difference, but in the UK, people, I think, almost expect or require more sort of personal space.
Yes, your bubbles are just slightly larger. And one thing I noticed is that everyone's extremely courteous over here. And when you're walking past someone on the road, you give each other much more space, like 5 feet or definitely over a meter to pass by each other. So if someone's walking close, they'll usually stand off into like the opening of a store to let you pass. And
I'm just marveling at your combination of both measurements, like 5 feet or at least a meter. That's perfect.
Well, a meter's 3 feet.
I know, exactly. I'm genuinely impressed. You just switched between the two perfectly.
I'm learning.
There's, what Annie was mentioning, there's videos online, like comedy videos, where people are passing down a fairly narrow road and people will like throw themselves into bushes just to like give someone plenty of space, like inconvenience themselves to give somebody else the space, which it's like a stereotypical like British thing, almost, but I wouldn't say that American people are impolite. I feel like
our bubbles are just a little bit smaller.
And they're still sort of like, they'll still apologize for being in your way, but they're happier to do that in a sort of narrower space.
It's just, we will pass within a meter of each other. You're still not touching, but you just are allowed to sort of pass each other close by. And I mean, you get that over here too, but I just see it more frequently over here, people giving much greater distances.
Finnegan's doing something under the table.
He's rolling around, he's eating.
He's got his little dog's football, so.
And I notice it a lot more on things like hiking trails.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, hiking trails specifically in America, you'll just sort of get past each other.
And actually, in America, if you're wearing like the same football jersey or something, you'll get a little high five for supporting the same team and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, both are okay, just different. And
Yep. Talking about football.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely like my personal bubble, but when it comes to getting by people, sometimes you'll squeeze in the narrowest of spaces to get by someone. You twist and contort your body, and sometimes you do a dance with somebody before they can get by. It's like slide to the left, slide to the right, and y'all keep being in each other's way until somebody figure it out. But yeah, I didn't know. I said that guy comedy videos of the bridge jumping in the bushes to get out the way for people to have a clear path.
oh, are we getting good at this, or are we just stretching?
So we're stretching on all of them.
Stretching.
With sporting events here, big difference, which my parents did not appreciate when they were visiting, is that you stand over here for sports, at least children's sports.
Yeah, it's like people are gonna laugh at us. Like, heaven forbid the Americans stand instead of sits. But Annie asked me this question, like, why does nobody like sit to watch like a rugby or football, like a kid's game or whatever? And I was like, I couldn't really think of a good reason other than maybe the weather.
And just sitting in wetness,
Wet, like
it's
mud
raining.
and like cold and rain. But sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no, that's fine. Yeah, so that was interesting to me. Growing up, I played football or soccer, and we'd always be traveling to events, and my parents would always have their little pop-up chairs.
Yeah.
And
Folding
everyone
camping chairs?
did. Yeah, so every adult on the sidelines would be sitting in their camping chair, and that's just how it was. And that's with any sport, too. If you go to an American football game, if you go to baseball and there's not enough stands or bleachers available, people just bring their chairs. And so when I came over here...
That's interesting, because those games are so much longer. Like baseball and American football can take a lot longer time, which might make sense. And then I'm comparing it to, in the summertime, like people watching cricket in the UK. In the comments, let us know, do you bring your own chairs for cricket? Or
There's no way
I played cricket at school and I can't remember what
There's no way you stand through a full cricket match.
If you just sat on the grass, like maybe bring a little, like a picnic blanket and sit on that.
Okay.
I feel like that would be the British way to do it.
Like a
Versus,
little picnic.
yeah, versus a camping chair. But yeah, on Annie's point, everyone would have the chairs, and some people would even bring like pop-up like tent things for the sun. And, that one makes a little, in one sense, makes a little less sense.
Because we don't have as much wind and we have a lot more sun. So it's more for protection, really.
Yeah. But the chair thing, Annie's parents took our chairs to rugby and they worked out just fine. And they were comfy and they enjoyed them.
And they didn't mind being the only people sitting.
No.
But to be fair, they're also over 70.
That's true.
So, and my mom has feet issues, so she does need to sit for a long period.
Only comparison I could make is, again, I remember sometimes people made it with like a walking stick. There's walking sticks that fold, the top part folds into a little leaning rest thing. But yeah, the camping chairs thing is definitely an American thing, which maybe we'll just try and start that over here. See how it goes. We'll just adopt it and be those
will you
people.
take our daughter's helmet off? We're just about to head out for a sporting event, but our daughter decided that she was just going to wear a helmet all morning. And
Come here.
Yeah, who knows what's going on.
Okay, she has deemed it safe enough to continue in the living room without a bike helmet on. So those were the bigger, I guess, ones or habits.
I feel like that one, definitely. I mean, it's just more convenient to be able to sit down. So you bring your own chair. You're definitely going to sit down and watch the games. But I guess if our sports are longer, then that does make more sense. But I can also understand, just bring a picnic like blanket and just sit in the grass. That's also definitely a way you could watch the games. But I just prefer to sit in the chair. But to stand, I can't stand for long periods of time. I can't. I'm not cut out for it. I'm not built for it. So we don't really do that. But that's I didn't know that about Brits and like youth sports. I stand the whole time the kids are playing.
That we've adopted. We now have 4 or 5 little ones that we don't have as much to say about it, but it's definitely things we've noticed we've changed.
Bonuses.
Bonus feature, yes.
Yeah, so one, and I really like this. Instead of using emojis over here, like every woman on the end of any text or email adds a little X.
Yeah, I'm not chatting to too many women by text, so I don't know this, but Annie mentioned it. And Finnegan, what are you doing? Digging for, there's nothing down there, but he's trying to dig for it. You want to come up?
Yes, and that's something I've adopted. I like using a little X as well, and yeah, it just...
Maybe it goes in with your love of getting pet names.
It is, yeah. It's right in the same camp as that.
So this next reference, I don't know if any American will get it, but Colin the Caterpillar cakes for kids' birthdays.
Oh,
They
I've heard
are
about
obsessed
this.
with Colin the Caterpillar, which you can only buy at Marks and Spencer's, and it's this chocolate log cake, basically, shaped like a caterpillar, and
And it took our kids approximately
one
birthday party to now adopt Colin. He is a part of our family at every birthday event. And yeah, it's something you can't miss out on.
Their favorite part is the face or the bum, because it has the most chocolate on it. Yeah.
Next one. Let's
The
go
face or the bum. That's the favorites. But I have heard about Colin the Caterpillar cake in different videos. I like to taste the Colin the Caterpillar cake. I like to see how it
to
is.
opening windows.
Yes, this is something in Georgia we did not do at all because it's way too hot or it's just cold and you want the windows closed.
There's no in between in Georgia. You either have weather that's too hot and you truly do need your air conditioning, or it's too cold and you have to do your forced air for heated air.
Yeah.
We did it a little bit in California, especially in Northern California. Some of the homes do not have air conditioning, so once it does cool down, you open your windows. But yeah, here, if it's too hot inside your house, that's all you've got. I mean, some fans maybe, but otherwise it's open a few windows or just open the little vents on your window.
Yeah.
And for the most part, you don't have to worry about bugs too much either.
No, not too much.
I mean, the US has little screens on them.
Yeah.
But
You do get some giant, scary spiders here.
But they come in even if your windows are closed.
That's true.
I feel that.
They somehow find their way in.
There's one of our videos where we talk about this, that Annie got a big scare because
Not giant spiders, but when we first moved in our apartment, we noticed like a lot of spiders. They'd be like in the bathroom, they'd be in the garage, they'd be inside the house, in the kitchen, and I'm like, I don't know where they're coming in from. I was like, we don't open anything. We keep the doors locked. We keep the garage closed. Don't know where they're, but yeah, needless to say, spiders will find a way no matter what. And most insects are just going to figure it out.
there was a giant spider in our daughter's room that looked so big it was like a toy.
Oh my
I was actually
dang.
mad at our kids because I thought they were purposely trying to scare the youngest, our daughter. I was like, why would you do that? It's just not a kind thing to do. It moved. We all nearly had heart attacks. I think Finnegan was chewing on the camera pole.
Yeah, so if the camera
angles might have moved.
The camera moved, we're not haunted. It was just Finnegan. The last one is again something you're probably only going to do a handful of times, and that is when you plug in something to charge or power up and nothing happens because you've not flipped the little switch on the plug. How many times have you not done that?
I did it religiously the first 3 months we moved over here. Every single night I'd go plug in my phone, I'm tired, and then the next morning it would be dead, of course, because I did not flip the switch.
Yeah.
So that is another British habit I have definitely adopted.
And we've seen it online. People get mixed up with it all the time, and it's just a little added safety feature. But yeah, it's definitely something to begin with. You have to consciously make yourself aware of. So.
So that is wrapping it up.
Yeah.
All of the British habits we've either reacquired or adopted just now.
Yeah.
And we'll check back in about, I don't know, 6 months, see if there's anything else.
See if any of these have changed or there's more we've added. But again, let us know in the comments if you've got any input or any suggestions. And we'll see you on the next one.
All right, take care. And please give us a like if you enjoyed today's video, learned something, or found it helpful.
Yeah, and we are still working through comments and emails. So thank you again and bear with us.
That's all we got. That was fun to hear so many different comparisons between the UK and the US and kind of habits they've adopted since moving to the UK from the US. So that was really cool just to hear. Some of those I had heard about from other videos, but some of those I hadn't. So Very interesting. Let me know you guys' thoughts on everything. And if you enjoyed, don't forget to smash subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. Check out the next. See y'all next time.